So for me, investing in healthcare is something which I am personally very passionate about. So it's not the one person who will run the show. You are a leader because of the team you are handling.
How do you see the future of health tech?
Future of healthcare is amazing. Many foreign founders, they're also trying to invest in Indian market.
I think the best thing is that everyone can access.
So the founder needs to be very patient. Now the idea is there, but to market that,
Is it necessary to have a doctor in the founding team?
I know some founders, even they are not even 10th class, but they are still trying to do something amazing in healthcare industry.
Yeah.
That is something that I am very excited about. What is important is we are dealing with lives. It is going to impact millions of lives.
Yeah. If any founders want to pitch you, what key points he should keep in mind?
So for me, what impresses is if we find some kind of non-transparency, something is happening which they are not they are trying to hide something. In fact, I would be more than happy to become a part of your journey, even starting from the early stage of your journey.
The health tech market is saturated.
Healthcare market is humongous. It's vast. The opportunities are, huge opportunities. Regulatory can never be a hurdle.
AI will replace medical professionals.
What is important is AI tools and together with the scientific expertise of healthcare professionals together can make the journey simpler, and we will be able to reach more and more people across the geographies.
So, what is your secret to success?
I have some values in my life. I do not compromise in my values, and that is something which I have observed.
Hello viewers, welcome to a brand new episode of Sign Up Startup powered by Bharat Valley Incubator and Accelerator Private Limited, launchpad for innovation. So today we have our guest who is a strategic investor in healthcare sector. So we will know more about this sector, how this sector operates, who all are the key players, how regulatory and compliances plays a big role in this sector. So let's start the podcast and understand from her point of view and majorly know how to get funding from health tech investors. So let's welcome Dr. Sonali Kirde, and from her we will know how to get funding from health tech investors. So let's start the podcast. So hello Sonali, welcome to our podcast. So how are you feeling today?
Oh, first of all, thank you so much, Ashish, for having me here. It's been a great pleasure to be a part of your show. And I would also like to thank your team members for the smooth onboarding. And it's really my pleasure to be a part of your show. I'm feeling extremely great, and I'm looking forward to have great conversations today. And more than that, the discussions which will ignite some talented minds.
Yeah.
And as a team, we should be able to help and support into the existing entrepreneurial ecosystem of India.
Okay, so let's talk about the journey, like how you have started, and in the end, now you are a strategic investor to health tech startups. So please tell your journey.
So, to start with, I would like to tell our audience that I'm a medical doctor. I'm primarily coming from Orange City, the tiger capital of India.
Yeah.
I have done my MBBS from GMC Nagpur, and after my MBBS, I worked in rural healthcare. I was working as a medical officer, where I actually seen the ground reality of healthcare system, and that too from the root level, from the ground root level. After spending around 2.5 years in the rural sector of healthcare, I decided to pursue my MD in pharmacology, and I did my MD in pharmacology from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Medical Sciences, Sevagram, which is in Varda. And after completing my MD, I decided to join pharmaceutical industry because it opens a gateway to so many therapy areas, and you can actually impact millions of lives. Correct. By working in pharma industry. And I started my career with top giants of the global giant like Merck Sharp and Dohme, popularly known as MSD.
Okay.
I used to handle diabetes portfolio there. And from there, I moved to GlaxoSmithKline, which is a British organization and again a multinational. And there I used to handle anti-infectives and dermatology portfolio. From there, I moved to Takeda, which is a Japanese organization, uh, which recently has completed 240 years of trust. So
Okay.
overall, all these top companies, the American, the Japanese and British companies, I realized that The cultures are different, but as an individual, we learn from culture and we try to imbibe the expertise and experience whatever we have gathered so far. We would love to use it in our own setup whenever I start my own company.
Correct.
So with that thought, I realized that I have to come out of my 9 to 5 job and start something on my own, which will give again me an opportunity to impact many lives. And with this experience, I should be able to help founders. And with that thought, I have started my career now as a strategic investor and consultant to healthcare startups. I am working as official mentor to Government of India under Mark Portal in Startup India. I'm also working as industry advisor to Venture Blick, which is a super incubator for healthcare based out of Singapore.
Okay.
I'm also working with Women Innovator, which is a global incubator for women.
Okay.
I'm also working with NGOs in women empowerment and girl child education. I'm also feel privileged to work with top institutes like IIT Bombay and few more as a mentor and as a jury for health tech startups where founders are actually getting mentorship from me. Apart from that, I'm also very passionate for career counseling for medicos, and I was always doing this anyways, but recently I founded another program that is Elevate, which is specifically targeted for medical professionals who can actually giving them a picture, the broader picture to select pathways which are non-traditional and try to have their career in different pathways other than the routine practice and clinical practice like that. So apart from that, I'm doing one-to-one mentorship as well for founders and for medics as well. So this is in nutshell, and I think the journey has been so far so good.
Okay, so that was a great introduction, and now we will start our first segment, that is Fab 5 segment. So are you ready for it?
Yes, all set.
So the first question is, what do you look for in health tech startups before investing?
So for me, investing in healthcare is something which I am personally very passionate about. So it's not only an investment in terms of money or time or strategy. It is an investment where I would love to know the lot many things from founders. So whenever such opportunities come to me and founders they actually pitch into me, and there are multiple opportunities like in pitching battles and in my one-to-one consultations as well as they book my slots for the guidance and for pitching for investment. uh, there are few things which I always look for in the startup. Number one is the idea, how innovative the idea is. With that, I don't mean that it has to be very different and very unique and first time in industry, but something which is actually solving any problem. So problem statement which is there in industry, in the healthcare industry, and the solution or the service or the idea which the founder is coming up with should bridge that gap.
Okay.
So for me, the problem statement identification and the idea and the fitment of that solution to the existing problem, bridging the need gap, is something that I am very particular about. The next thing I always look for is the founder. Now, as a founder, I don't mean he or she has to be from a medic background or healthcare background. Founder need to be from any background, but he or she have to be super passionate for the product,
Okay.
for the service, for the idea, for the company that they want to build. And the third thing I would also see is the team. So it's not the one person who will run the show. The one person can bring something very interesting to the table. That is the main idea, the core idea.
Correct.
But what is also important is the team. You are a leader because of the टीम यू आर हैंडलिंग, सो वो आपको इतना अच्छा बनाते हैं कि आप कॉन्फिडेंटली सामने जाके खड़े रह सकते हो.
Yeah.
So what is also important is the entire founding team, and it has to be a group of experts from various domains coming together and trying to make something which is very excellent. So I think these are few things that I look for.
So the second question is, how do you see the future of health tech shaping patient care?
So brilliant question. I would say the future of healthcare is amazing. It is very promising. What is important is the scenario has changed so much Now, in the recent times, if you are aware, you must be aware of it, that many foreign founders, they're also trying to invest in Indian market.
Yeah.
They are also trying to expand their business in Indian market. They are trying to explore Indian market because the potential is huge.
Correct.
We are blessed with a lot many things. Technology wise, we are doing very good. Medical science, we were always, India is a place which was always recognized for its medical practice. The third thing is research centers are also coming up. Government is also encouraging for startups. We have a lot many incubators and accelerators and institutes which are actually encouraging healthcare as well as one of the important and the primary domain where the investments and the upliftment should be there. Founders, what they are doing, they are taking help of artificial intelligence and applying some software technology to it, and they are trying to have remote consultation of patients for the experts who are sitting in top cities of India.
I think the best thing is that everyone can access opportunity, or like you mentioned, the tier one,
Yeah.
doctors, even the medicines, quality of, the treatment is getting better.
Better and better. Yes, absolutely.
So the next question is, what challenges do startups face when scaling?
So, while scaling a startup, though the upscaling or scaling seems a very exciting stage, but what I have also observed is the challenges they generally, have to face. There are many. The first challenge I would say is the challenge of fundraising. So the founder needs to be very patient, and that is something that I have found. And many of the founders, they come to me for fundraising, for the funding support, and that is one thing that I would say they face as a challenge, especially if they are from a background which is does not belong to healthcare industry. So that is one thing. Second thing, I would say the regulatory compliance. Now, regulatory compliances are not a kind of a mandatory, not only a mandatory thing, but also very important. It's a very critical part of healthcare system. The other challenges that I see is having a good sales and marketing team. Now the idea is there, but to market that and to place and position that product or that idea into the market is something that will require an expertise.
Yeah.
So selection of right sales team and the selection of a right marketeer is something that they also find it very challenging when they travel their journey.
Can you share a successful health tech investment example of yours?
Okay. So, yes, with all due respect to non-disclosure agreements, I would like to give you a broader picture of the success story of the health tech startup or a healthcare startup that I have recently invested. The details of it, maybe I will not be able to share with you, but what I found interesting about the project is, or the idea is, they were trying to build something which is very much relevant to depression. We know major depressive disorders and other depressive disorders, they are predominantly present in India. And apart from the pharmacotherapy, the medicines, what is also important is the counseling. And counselings by psychologist or psychiatrist. And apart from that, they are trying to build a toll-free number.
Okay.
Uh, and some technology that they have applied, through which if you are on their portal and if you are googling or surfing a word like suicide, maybe 4 times a day, it gives an indication that you are actually trying to know what are the various ways of suicide,
Acha.
how you can actually commit suicide. So it gives them a signal and make them understand that this person is who is a patient of depression is trying to serve this various ways of suicide, and they actually call you and they make you aware and they spend some time with you. Maybe you are lonely or not sharing it with anyone, but the toll free number pay, they have a psychologist who is actually calling and giving you a kind of counseling, making you understand that this is not the right way to come out of it. Maybe we can work, they can have multiple sessions with that person, and they are actually in some cases their team is actually going to home also.
Okay.
For that one-to-one conversation which we don't find people around us when we are depressed. So this is something which was amazing to know, and that I will call it as the most successful investment so far.
So the last question is, Is it necessary to have a doctor in the founding team or co-founder for success of health tech startup?
So there is no necessity as such. I would say when I speak with founders from non-medical background, they are from IITs or they are from IIMs or some I know some founders even they are not even 10th class and they are from remotest possible areas, but they are still trying to do something amazing in healthcare industry.
Yeah.
That is something that I'm very excited about because the mere idea or the mere intention of doing something good for for healthcare industry, that excites me. So if you are a medico, if you are coming from a healthcare background, that the journey becomes simpler. I would say it is much easier as compared to coming from a non-medical background. But it is not that the non-medical background will not do wonders. What is important is to have someone in the team, in your core team, from the medical background, because the essence of this is scientific expertise.
Yeah.
It's not that we are selling soaps. What is important is we are dealing with lives. It is going to impact millions of lives.
Yeah.
If you can find a co-founder who is a doctor, that will be like blessing. And I have seen some examples. People have joined a company. There are three a set of three people. One is from engineering background, the other is from management background, and third one is a doctor. They are running the show beautifully.
Right.
So such type of tuning, such type of collaborations, and such type of partnerships will definitely give you an upper hand, and your journey will become faster and smoother and safer as well.
Okay, so that was the end of the Fab Five segment, and
Wow.
now we will move to the next segment, that is VC secrets. So in this segment, basically we want to get into the investor's mind that how and what they think when someone comes to pitch them. What are they thinking? What all things they looks very specifically. Okay, so the question for this segment is,
Okay.
if any founders want to pitch you, what key points he should keep in mind?
So for me, what impresses is number one, the idea, the concept. Number two, the market fitment, whether that idea is actually needed in the market or not, and the positioning of that ideation in the market. That is something which is very important. The next is the segmentation of market has been done or not, whether they know their business well or not. It need not to be very a very polished plan, but some plan, at least something that they want to achieve, and later on we can always guide and help them.
Correct.
The next is the unit economics. So in some cases, the unit economics is also not clear. So they are not well versed with the figures. They are not well versed with the numbers. They sometimes find it very difficult. And we understand because they may not be very, expert in that particular field, but they can at least bring someone who will be able to project it, who will be able to share those numbers with us. Because as an investor, it is important for us to know the numbers. If we find some kind of non-transparency or some kind of confusion in the mind, that clearly indicates that they are not very confident about the product or about the plan, and also something is happening which they are not they are trying to hide something. Again, an indication of some non-compliance things are happening. So these are the basic things that I see in the pitching deck and also in the founder whenever they pitch to me.
So that was the beautiful conclusion of this segment. And now we are going to a very funny segment which is added in this season, that is facts versus myths.
Okay.
So I will ask you a few questions and you have to say first whether it is a fact or myth, and then you can explain it, what is a fact or what is a myth,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So the first thing is, you need to have a fully developed product to pitch health tech investors.
Oh my God, it's a myth.
Okay.
So I would say minimal viable product, or I would say even the prototype, which is important,
Okay.
but not a fully finished product. Finished product is what is important for the investment. In fact, I would be more than happy to become a part of your journey, even starting from the early stage of your journey, because that gives me leverage to help you as much as possible. and we both travel the journey in a much safer way, and the chances of success also increases if you want an investor or a mentor at an early stage rather than an advanced stage. So what is important is not very much interested in the finished product, but in fact if it is the prototype, and joining at a much earlier stage becomes more exciting and more thrilling.
The health tech market is saturated and new startups cannot compete with established player. My specifically favorite question.
No, it's Ashish. I would say it's a myth. Healthcare market is humongous. It's vast. The opportunities are, huge opportunities. The need gaps are also so many. People are now coming with newer and newer ideas. So even if there are some established players trying to sustain their business or modifying their business and giving the best possible patient service, what is also important is newer ideas, new players, and new startups and new founders with new talent mind and a fresh outlook should enter the market, should enter the healthcare industry. Okay. Because that will give us a fresh outlook. Maybe as a medic we will not able to understand the need gap, but as an outsider or as a from a non medical background or someone who is coming from a very fresh outlook can identify something which is very impactful, socially very impactful, improvising patients' lives, yeah, and also which will lead to more accessible healthcare services. Okay. So it is important that the market is growing, it is evolving, it is exploding, but it is not saturated. And we need more and more people to enter the healthcare market from all the backgrounds, legal background,
Right.
the CA, like you, CA backgrounds, then engineers, biotechnologists, researchers, and the other domains as well. Okay. So next is regulatory hurdles are the biggest barrier for health tech innovation. It's a myth, Ashish. Regulatory can never be a hurdle. As I was mentioning, it's a beautiful frame. It's a frame that will help you to have your game safely. Second thing, it gives you a good protocol, regulations, and the guidelines, which will help you to grow your business in a designed systematic manner, so that tomorrow you don't face any penalty or any implications of your maybe some mistakes which are not in favor of patients lives. Because again I'm saying this is a very niche and sensitive market. We have to be careful while handling or while introducing any new idea to the market. So regulatory is not a hurdle. It's I would say a safety guard, and we all have to respect it, and we have to follow those guidelines and become a company where the your core is regulatory compliance, and then that also can become your USP as well. So the next one is AI will replace medical professionals. No, Ashish, it's a myth. AI can never replace medical professionals because medical professionals, they come with some scientific expertise and they have studied for so many years. So the scientific expertise and experience that they have gathered, handling lives, handling patient lives is something which technology cannot replace. But what this AI tools can really do wonders is in facilitating this process. Yeah. What is important is AI tools and together with the scientific expertise of healthcare professionals together can make the journey simpler, and we will be able to reach more and more people across the geographies, across various parts of the countries where maybe at present we are not able to reach. So using AI technologies, the current healthcare system will get more and more simple, and it will be like a helping hand. And I would request all the doctors who are watching your show, try to imbibe AI technology or the tools in their regular practice, so that it will facilitate their practice and it will make their lives easy. At the same time, always have a check to apply your expertise. At the end of the day, it's human expertise, human intelligence, which is always have upper hand over artificial intelligence. So but never hesitate to include these tools in your practice. That is something which is very important. Okay. So the next one is health tech is too niche, but there are still opportunities for growth. Yes, Ashish, it's a fact. It's a niche area. But as I was mentioning, the opportunities are ample, and there are multiple areas on which actually founders can work. So I think it's a fact.
Okay, so that is the conclusion of facts versus myths segment, and we have reached to our the last segment, that is secret to success. So, what is your secret to success?
So Ashish, the day I declare myself as a successful person, I think I will stop growing. I can answer your question in a much, reframing it. What is the secret to whatever I have achieved so far? I would say, number one is following your moral values. So as a person, I'm a person who is very ethical. I have some values in my life, which I also at my personal front as well as professional front, and I do not compromise in my values.
Okay.
And that is something which I have observed, and people also tell me that that makes you different. The second thing is intentions. I always try to help and support people as much as possible. I'm also a very collaborative person. I'm I'm called as a people's person because I don't find any hesitation in discussing any topic, people from my field or from some other field. In fact, I'm a continuous learner. I learn from people, I love from places, I love from products. So, what is important is to learn from each and every individual who is coming to your life. And that urge of learning something new and something unique from every individual has make me a person with a broader mindset, I would say.
Okay.
So this I would collectively called as some mantra for whatever I have achieved for so far, and of course blessings for my parents, and blessings from my friends and seniors and colleagues and teachers and institutes that I have been part of it.
So, Sonali, before concluding this episode, I will really wanted to know if anyone who is watching today's podcast, they
Okay.
want to reach you, maybe for any reason, maybe some medics students,
Uh-huh.
maybe some startup founder,
Mhm.
maybe some institute or incubator accelerator. So, how they can reach you, or how I will reframe the question: how easy it is to reach you.
So I'm present on LinkedIn, and it's very easy to reach out to me just by drafting a simple message, send a hi to me, and there we can have further discussions. The second thing is I'm also on TopMate. They can schedule their slot for one-to-one mentorship with me, and the link is again shared on the LinkedIn. I'm also available on social media, all possible social media like Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp,
Okay.
and Twitter as well, X as well.
So viewers, I think now you can reach out to her at any point of time. We will keep the link in description. So yeah, great, Sonali. It was a nice discussion, healthy discussions on health tech specifically.
Absolutely.
Maybe there will be someday where people will not stay in line to just do the admission or the documentation procedure. That will, I think, very soon it will remove from the system.
Correct.
It will just tech based, that you enter in the data in the mobile and it will be there.
Correct.
You will know at what exact time you can go and
Exactly.
do the
Yeah.
things. So
Yeah.
yes, innovation is there. And lastly, there is a huge growth opportunities considering the population of India.
Correct.
The market size, specifically India, is a very big market,
Yeah.
like you have mentioned. So the growth opportunities there. So yes, we will definitely, you, me, we are always, there to help the startups who, do something wanted to do in this health tech industry. So thank you. Thanks for your valuable time
Thank you,
to
Arpit.
giving by giving in our podcast show.
Thank you so much, Ashish. It was indeed a lovely conversation with you. And it's really I hope the audience will get a lot of value through our conversations.
Yeah.
And I really thoroughly enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for having me here today. Thanks.
So viewers, this is it for today. We will meet in next episode with a new guest. Till then, stay tuned.